Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the 1238th Public Hearing and Regular Meeting of the Livonia City Planning Commission. I wish to inform all persons interested in our audience for petitions on tonight's agenda, which involve a question of zoning. The Planning Commission will make a recommendation to City Council, and the City Council, after holding their own public hearing, will make the final determination as to whether a petition is approved or denied. The Planning Commission holds the only public hearing on requests for preliminary plats and/or vacating petitions. The Commission's recommendation is forwarded to the City Council for final determination as to whether the petition is accepted or rejected. If a petition requesting a waiver of use or a site plan is denied tonight, the petitioner will have 10 days in which to appeal the decision in writing to City Council. Resolutions adopted by the City Planning Commission become effective 7 days after the date of adoption. The Planning Commission and professional staff have reviewed each of these petitions upon their filing. The staff has furnished the Commission with both approving and denying resolutions, which may or may not be used depending on the outcome of the proceedings tonight. If our Secretary is ready, please call the roll.
Mrs. DeNaro.
Here.
Mr. Long.
Is here.
Mr. Bonjero is absent. Mr. Droz.
Here.
Mr. Ventura.
Is here.
Caremagno is here. Chairman Wilshaw.
Is here. Thank you. We also have with us Jacob Uhazi. We also have Stephanie Reese, both from our Planning Department, and they will be giving us information on these petitions as we see each of them. For the folks in our audience who have not been to one of our meetings, the flow of the meeting is that we will start off by getting background information on the petitions that are before us tonight. There's two substantive ones that I'm sure you're here for. We'll then have an opportunity for the petitioner to come to one of our podiums and explain their petition to us. We may have some questions for them, and then anyone else in the audience who wishes to speak on the item will be allowed to come forward and give their comments before we make our decision. So with that, we're going to start with the public hearing section of our agenda, item number 1.
Petition 2025-10-02-17 submitted by Outback Steakhouse requesting waiver use approval pursuant to Section 6.03 of the Livonia zoning ordinance as amended to utilize an SDM liquor license which allows a licensed business to sell beer, wine, and mixed spirits drinks in the original package for consumption off premises in connection with the existing restaurant Outback Steakhouse at 13010 Middlebelt Road, located at the southeast corner of Middlebelt Road and Industrial Drive in the northwest corner of Section 25.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary. Mr. Uhazi.
Good evening, Mr. Chair. This request is by Outback Steakhouse to add the SDM liquor license that would allow for sale of off-premise consumption of alcohol products. The reason for this request is that Outback sees this as a growing part of their business. The petition location is the Outback Steakhouse located on the east side of Middlebelt Road, just north of Schoolcraft Road and the south of the I-96 Expressway, just south of Schoolcraft Road and the I-96 Expressway. The current zoning is C2. The adjacent properties include to the east, the Culvers, which is zone C2. To the west, across Middlebelt, is Applebee's, zone C2. To the south is the Portillo's Restaurant, zone C2. And then to the north is the Costco property, which is also zoned C2. In Livonia, the operation of an SDM liquor license requires special land use approval pursuant to Section 6.03 of the zoning ordinance. Outback currently operates a Class C liquor license, which permits the sale of beer, wine, and spirits for consumption on premises. Section 6.03 of the zoning ordinance specifies that there are two special requirements that are minimum separation requirements for SDM licensed businesses. The first is that there shall be no other SDM licensed establishments within 500 feet of an existing SDM licensed business. And you can see here, this is measured from building to building. So there are two locations that are within the 500-foot buffer, the Applebee's as well as the Costco. The second separation requirement is at least 400 feet from any church or school There are no churches or schools within the 400 feet buffer of this location. One note on section 6.03 of the ordinance, it does specify that the 500-foot buffer can be waived by city council. And with that, Mr. Chairman, I have some correspondence to read as well.
Sure, if you'd like to read that out, please.
In accordance with your, this is from the Engineering Division. In accordance with the request, the Engineering Division has reviewed the above referenced petition. We have no objections to the proposed waiver at this time, but would like to note the following items. 1, the subject parcel is assigned the address of 13010 Middle Belt Road. The existing parcel is currently serviced by public sanitary sewer and water main, as well as private stormwater. There is no mention of utility revisions with this proposal, so we do not believe there will be any adverse effects on the existing system. 3, should any revisions to the utility services to the building or any work in the right-of-way be required, the owner will need to submit drawings to the department to determine if engineering permits will be required. Signed, David Lear, Assistant City Engineer. From the Fire Marshal's Office, the office has reviewed the site plan submitted in connection with obtaining an SDM liquor license located at the above reference petition, or above reference address. We have no objections to the proposal with the stipulations. The past liquor license requests have been started at the state level to local level through Livonia PD investigation. Sergeant Jeff Ronay to the police, or to the Fire Prevention Division for a required life safety premises liquor license inspection to be performed. This is signed Brian Kukula, Fire Marshal. From Inspection Department, pursuant to your request, the above referenced petition has been reviewed. The department has no objections to this petition. Signed Jerome Hanna, Director of Inspection. And finally, from the Police Department, we have reviewed the plans submitted by the DBA Outback Steakhouse requesting waiver use approval pursuant to section 6.03 of the Livonia zoning ordinance as amended to utilize an SDM liquor license. Allows a licensed business to sell beer, wine, and mixed spirits, drink products in the original package for consumption off the premise. In connection with the existing restaurant operation, Outback Steakhouse at 13010 Middle Belt Road, located in the southeast corner of Middle Belt and Industrial Drive in the northwest one quarter of Section 25. The review of the plans has determined that the request does not comply with prior separation requirement guidelines. The proposed establishment is inside the separation requirement distance of at least 500 feet from any existing SDM liquor license establishment. Applebee's, located at 13301 Middle Belt, currently has a Class C and SDM liquor license and is 337 feet from the Outback Steakhouse. Costco, located at 13700 Middle Belt, currently has an SDM liquor license and is 455 feet from the Outback Steakhouse. We recommend that the Planning Department and City Council consider maintaining the separation requirement guidelines. It is our opinion that the guidelines are good for local establishment businesses and maintaining Livonia's family atmosphere. Signed, Jeffrey Ronayne. And that is all I have, Mr. Chairman.
All right, thank you, Mr. Uhazy. Is there any questions for our planning staff? Mr. Ventura?
Jacob, you mentioned Applebee's. Are they operating as, in a way that Outback anticipates they would? Are they doing the same thing?
I believe like they already have the SDM license, so I'm assuming they already offer the to-go liquor service or
They do.
wine. They have the license. I don't know if, I assume it's actually offered there, but I'm not familiar with their business enough to know. But they have that option.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Ventura. Any other questions for staff? If not, our petitioner, I believe, is in the audience. Feel free to come forward to our podium. We'll ask that you start with your name and address for our record. Good evening.
Hello. David Franchuk. I'm the owner and operator of the Outback Steakhouse on Middle Belt Road, 130. I got to be honest with you, I forget the number.
13010.
Yes, 13010.
Very good.
Donnie Thompson, joint venture partner for Outback Steakhouse here in Michigan, overseeing the location in Livonia as well.
You said Thompson's your last name?
Thompson, yes.
Thompson, okay, very good, thank you. Good evening, gentlemen. What would you like to tell us about your request?
Yeah, I think for the request overall, for us, as we previously had mentioned, when we had the opportunity in the pre-hearing, very small portion of our business, but it is an offering that we see that could keep us on par with similar businesses operating within the city of Livonia. The majority of our other locations in the state of Michigan operate under the same license and have the ability to do so, and we'd like to be able to participate in that as well in Livonia. Not much more to add. We sell beverages off-premise now under our current license that are not in the six-pack form or the bottle of wine form. We would just like to be able to expand that offering to our guests, and that's simply why we're here today.
All right, straightforward enough. Let's see if we have any questions for you. Is there any questions for Mr. Denaro? Go ahead.
Can you elaborate on what kind of offerings you'll have and tell us a little bit about how you ensure that you're not selling to anybody that's underage? And third question, actually, do you sell through third-party apps as well?
So the first question in regards to offerings, they would be very few actually. So 6 packs of beer, pretty much domestic, Bud Light, etc. Bottle of wine, I think, one red, one white, one sparkling, very simplistic, and then 6 packs of seltzer in this regard. That would be about it, and that would be consistent with across the brand as well. Could you remind me of the second question?
ID checks, underage.
Yeah, so, and I'll answer that question in conjunction with the third-party services like Uber Eats, DoorDash, et cetera. The ID function would be exactly the same as it would be if someone sat at the bar before we handed anybody a beer or a beverage, or at the car side, we would ask for their ID, validate that they were over 21 years old, and follow that exact same process. It would not be offered via third party. DoorDash, Uber Eats, etc. This is only our in-house. You got to call the phone or kind of click through on our website to order it.
Great, thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Mr. Denaro. Any other questions for our petitioner? Mr. Ventura?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So how does it work when somebody wants to buy alcohol? When they place the order either online or on the phone, they show up at one of those designated parking spaces that you have surrounding the restaurant. Do they leave their car there and go in and present themselves to somebody in the restaurant, where they then validate, where their ID is then examined and validated? Or does somebody from the restaurant leave the restaurant and bring it to the car at the curb?
Do you want to speak on that?
Yeah, that's fine. Our protocol is that they stay in their car, it's curbside service, and then one of my employees would come outside and go to the car, get their name, ask them for the order. If that order does have alcohol attached to it, which my employee would already know, they would then validate the ID. Once the ID is validated, they would then go in, get the order, bring the order out, and exchange payment.
So we're creating a situation where an underage person with a driver's license could arrive at the curb, and some underage person that's working for you that is just running packages back and forth can go out and see their buddy there and give them a wink and say, yeah, you passed, and hand them the liquor and the food, and nobody's the wiser, and your employee goes back inside, nobody inside is any wiser, and we've now sold food and alcohol to somebody driving a car.
Theoretically, yeah, that could happen, but that could happen on any platform, right? Someone could come into my bar and sit at my bar, and their buddy's bartending, give them the wink, and they give them a drink. I mean, that's my job. That's my responsibility to make sure that we are doing proper protocol for IDing, making sure that everyone that buys alcohol on my property is of age, and that is something that is heavily monitored in my building. We do not serve underage on any level.
So how do you propose to monitor it at the curb? I understand when you go into a bar, you've got a bartender there who is not some teenager, it's an experienced person. how do you police the people that are doing these trips in and out of the store?
Yeah, great question, Mr. Ventura. I think the process is exactly the same. Anybody in that position, just like in the bartender position, would be of the legal age to serve alcohol. They would follow, as David mentioned, the exact same protocol as we would in-house in the restaurant, by validating that the person is of age, using their ID before any form of alcohol was to be served. In addition to that, all orders containing alcohol are explicitly labeled that this order contains alcohol, as you know, and that's just from our side more of a training and coaching thing. So it's high visibility, it's yellow, it's very obvious. You know, much more so than probably maybe even sitting at the bar, right? We make it very, very obvious that it contains alcohol. And again, as David mentioned, same exact protocol, right? Identification is provided before anything is served to any guest. And that'd be consistent, you know, with how we process any order for alcohol.
Did I understand you to say that the people that are bringing the products to the car are of drinking age?
Well, they're
I
of
didn't say
legal
that. I
age.
didn't say they're of drinking age. They're of legal age to
Legal age to
serve.
serve.
Yeah.
Legal age to serve is 18. So
Okay.
they're all at least 18 years old.
Okay.
But any liquor that would come through my to-go room anyway would be monitored by a manager anyway, you know, kind of as a second pair of eyes. It's not just, we don't really sell that much alcohol to go. So when we do, you know, it's like, I got a drink to go. It's heavily monitored, heavily monitored.
Okay, well, you can hear my reservation about serving drinks in cars. That drinking and driving, as we all know, don't go together. So this is a concern of mine.
No, yeah, I could understand, I could appreciate that. That's a whole different, so the drinks are all sealed, everything's sealed, so when it gets served, it's sealed. So I could see that someone buys a drink and are they gonna start drinking it in the car? Everything's sealed, so when it leaves our building, it's sealed.
It would be no different, Mr. Ventura, as you know, than if we went to Costco and got a 6-pack of beer. Be treated just as such.
Okay.
Yeah, and I guess I would just add the intention and the idea of this license for us is to, you know, long day of work for some of our patrons who come into our business. Maybe they would like to enjoy a nice cold beer when they get home. They already are placing dinner with Outback. We're able to have that. It makes Outback a one-stop shop instead of the additional stop on the way home. It's about convenience for the guests, and we see. And as David mentioned, it's a very small mix. He has a very busy to-go business. He has a very slow off-premise alcohol mix currently from the cocktails that we do serve, versus the prepackaged liquors we're proposing to be able to provide today.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Ventura. Any other questions for the petitioner?
Mr. Chair.
Yes, Mr. Droz.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. How long has Outback as a business been offering this service? Maybe if it's more of a local thing, I guess.
The
in
brand?
the Michigan area. No, the option to buy or get basically alcohol with
This is pretty much a byproduct. I mean, I really want to say, yeah, coming out of 2020, consistent with the rest of the industry. Yeah.
Okay.
When restaurants were coming out of COVID, they had to find other ways to make money. So they tried to channel every avenue they could, essentially, and, you know, this was just convenience, really. You know, like, instead of, like he said, making a couple stops, you pick up food, then you stop at the 7-Eleven to grab some drinks, you can get it all in one spot and be about your way, and then, you know, grow some revenue.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Droz. Any other questions for the petitioner?
Mr. Chair.
Mr. Caremagna.
So what are your hours for operation at the Outback?
We operate Monday through Saturday, 11 in the morning to 10 at night, and then Sunday from 11 in the morning to 9 at night.
Okay, and you'd mentioned carry-out orders. How many carry-out orders do you do a night?
That could vary. It's about 30% of my sales. I could give you a dollar amount. I don't know that I could give you an amount of actual orders, I would say my dollar amount could be about 5,000, give or take, depending on the day, anywhere from 2 to 5, something like that.
How many, so 5,000, what's the average sale? Is it
Average
$100?
sale.
I think we could better answer this question by saying on any given day, we sell on the very low end 10 orders out of the to-go room, and on the very high end, around 150.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, 10's low. I'm,
That's what I said, on the very low end, right? You know, Saturday, there was a lot of snow. We might have, had a lot less people frequenting our to-go service.
And what percentage do you think of those, let's just split the difference, let's just say there's 60 a night, how many are going to have alcohol associated to them?
well, that question's a lot simpler than how much orders come out of there. I mean, if I sell a handful of to-go drinks, alcoholic drinks a day, it's a lot. It's not really that common. But right now, we're only selling a couple of our featured drinks. We're selling, a margarita. We have a martini that we're selling. It's a couple of featured drinks that get made. They're in mason jars, and then they're sealed. I might sell a handful of those a night. It's not really anything that's making or breaking me.
So
But-
out of 60, you might sell 5 on the high side,
Yeah.
2 on the low side.
Okay. All right, good, thank you.
All right, thank you. Any other questions for the petitioner? This is a question that we may have normally asked our police department, but it wasn't in the report that they gave us. You've been in business at this location for quite a long time now, in Livonia, and been very successful. Have you ever had any liquor code violations, underage selling, or any sting operations?
Unfortunately, I took over the store about a year and a half ago, give or take.
Okay.
Prior to me coming into the store, there were, yes, and that might be why the police department has their reservations about it. There were some issues with sting operations, and we did have to deal with some stuff. I assure you, nothing like that has even remotely close to happened under my reign. Like I said, I take it very seriously. And when it did happen prior to me, all parties involved were terminated. It was handled accordingly. So, if they're going to hold that over our head, I mean, like I said, that was going on a year and 6-7 months ago.
All right. No, I appreciate your honesty. Like I said, this particular business has been there for quite a while now. So it's inevitable that something like this might happen. And if the police department had enough concern over your operation, your liquor license, it probably would be suspended at this point, or if it was an issue. So I think the fact that you're operating and that you're not having any violations in the last year and a half that you've been owning it, says something about how you're operating your business. So I do appreciate the honesty, though. Is there any other questions for the petitioner? If not, I'll go to the audience. Is there anyone in the audience wishing to speak on this item? No one launching out of their chair. Anything else that you'd like to tell us before we make our decision?
No, I don't think we have anything further to add. I think we were able to articulate, what we're trying to accomplish here, and I hope we answered your questions to the best of our ability, and that's it.
Okay, well, I appreciate you being here. Let's see what happens. I'm going to go to my colleagues, and I'll close the public hearing, and a motion will be in order.
Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Long.
I'd like to offer an approving resolution that the request to utilize an SDM liquor license allows a business licensed to sell at retail beer, wine, and mixed spirit drink products in the original package for consumption off the premises in connection with the existing restaurant operation of Outback Steakhouse at 13010 Middlebelt Road is hereby approved for the following reasons, subject to City Council approval and the following conditions. Number one, that this approval is subject to City Council waiving the 500-foot separation requirement between SDM licensed establishments. Number two, that the subject site has the capacity to accommodate the proposed use. Number three, that the use of an SDM liquor license will complement the existing use of the subject property and will provide an additional service to customers.
Thank you, Mr. Long. Is there support?
Support.
All right, we have a motion made by Mr. Long, and it's been supported by Ms. DeNaro to approve. Is there any discussion on that motion? Hearing no discussion, if the secretary is ready, please call the roll.
Mr. Long.
Aye.
Mrs. DeNaro.
Aye.
Mr. Droz.
No.
Mr. Ventura.
No.
Caremagna votes aye. Chairman Wilshaw.
Votes aye. Motion passes. We'll go to City Council with an approving recommendation. Good luck going forward.
Thank you.
Very much.
Thank you for coming tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We now go on to item number 2 on the public hearing section of our agenda.
Petition 2025-10-02-18, submitted by Chirara Property LLC, requesting waiver use approval under sections 3.11 and section 6.07 of the Livonia zoning ordinance as amended to operate an auto wash and oil change establishment at 38400 Joy Road, located at the northwest corner of Joy Road and Hicks Road in the southwest quarter of section 31.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary. Mr. Uhazy.
Thank you. This is seeking waiver use approval to add oil change bays in addition to the existing coin wash operated, the coin operated car wash. The location, as mentioned, is in the northwest corner of Joy and Hicks. The parcel is 40,000 square feet and has 200 feet of frontage along Joy Road and 200 feet of frontage along Hicks Road. The car wash is an existing car wash that was built in 1985 that has 6 self-service car wash bays. The building was modified to add two interior bays that have been used as storage since then. Recently, the building was purchased and is under new management, and with this new operation, they intend to use the 2 additional bays for oil change services. The existing zoning is C2. Surrounding the property to the north and west is a N1 neighborhood. East across Hicks Road are 2 properties. One property is the coffee and cream pastry shop, which is also zoned C2, and a residential property zoned N1. And then south of the petition site is the city of Westland, and it's a commercial property with a party store, P&J Party Store. Under C2, under the zoning ordinance, C2 district, it treats car washes and automobile repair stations as a waiver. As I mentioned, they already have a waiver for the car wash. This is just to add the addition of the oil change services. Another requirement of the C2 district is to have a wall separation between commercial and residential, which there is an existing brick wall separating the petition site from the adjacent residential properties. The site plan shows 12 vacuums located on the site, 6 in the front and 6 in the rear. Those are self-serve vacuum stations. The elevations have no changes, show no changes are to the existing facade. The facade includes a brick chimney with limestone cap, asphalt roof shingles, gable siding with, made of vinyl, dormers with shaker siding with bronze frame windows, and the walls are red brick over CMU block. There is existing landscaping on site that includes shrubs, evergreen trees, and yews. Auto wash establishments are required to have 20 parking spaces in the zoning ordinance. Auto repair facilities are required to have 2 parking spaces for each repair bay plus 1 per employee. The zoning ordinance would require at least 25 spaces for an auto wash and oil change facility. The site plan shows 16 spaces plus 16 striped parking spaces. They are single striped in the site plan. We do not count the the bays as official parking spaces, just to note that. But there are 6 bays for parking and then the 2 oil change bays. City Council can modify the numerical requirements for off-street parking based on evidence that another standard would be reasonable based on the level of current or future employment and/or current or future customer traffic. No stormwater plans were submitted, but there are no proposed changes to the stormwater management system. No photometric plan was submitted, but the petitioner has stated that they don't plan to change any of the lighting as well. Currently, the site does not have a dumpster location. The petitioner is adding a dumpster location shown here in the northwest corner of the property. The dumpster is required to be enclosed on 3 sides with sturdy material matching the building, as well as sturdy material that can close. And there was no sign package, but anything in excess of the existing, or in excess of the zoning ordinance would be required ZBA approval. But no changes are proposed for signage, so as far as I know. With that, Mr. Chairman, I also have some correspondence I can read.
Yes, please.
From the Inspection Department, pursuant to your request, the above referenced petition has been reviewed. The department has no further objections to this petition, except for, well, signing 1. The petitioner's proposal is a change of use. This would require that the proposed space conform to all current barrier-free codes, building codes, and all mechanical codes and standards. This will be addressed further during their plan review if the project moves forward. 2, all signage shall be conforming. A variance from the ZBA would be required for non-conforming signage. Signed, Jerome Hanna, Director of Inspection. From the Police Department, I've reviewed the plans in connection with the petition. I have no objections to the proposal. Signed, Paul Walters, Sergeant of the Traffic Bureau. From the Fire Marshal's Office, the office has reviewed the site plan submitted in connection with a request to modify a commercial building on the property located at the above referenced address. We have no objections to this proposal. A further detailed review will take place when this division receives an official plan set. Signed, Brian Kukla. And finally, from the Engineering Department, in accordance with your request, the Engineering Division has reviewed the above referenced petition. We have no objections to the proposed waiver use at this time, but would like to note the following items. 1, the subject parcel is assigned the address 38400 Joy Road. Should additional addresses be needed, the owner will need to contact this department once approvals have been obtained. 2, the existing parcel is currently serviced by public sanitary sewer, stormwater, and water main. Utility information has not been submitted with the drawings, but we do not believe there is any adverse effects on the proposed project. 3, the renovated site will be required to comply with the latest version of the Wayne County Stormwater Ordinance regarding water quality and possible detention. 4, in addition to permits from the City of Livonia, proposed work in the Joy Road right-of-way will require permits from the Wayne County Department of Public Service. Signed, David Lear, Assistant City Engineer.
All right, thank you, Mr. Uhazy. Is there any questions for planning staff? I don't.
Mr. Chair.
Mr. Droz, yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Uhazy, the provided site plan also notes, in addition to the dumpster, that there's a proposed shed that's going to be in the back. Is there any information on that in terms of materials and?
We do not have
what it's
any
like?
additional information on that.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Droz. Any other questions for staff? Mr. Ventura?
Jacob, they show a significant amount of area as landscaping. Do the plantings that are going to be there generally conform with what we require in the city?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you, Jim.
Thank you, Mr. Ventura. Any other questions? If not, our petitioner is in the audience. Feel free to come forward to our podium. Again, we'll ask that you start with your name and address so we know who we're talking with. Good evening.
Good evening. Sam Sharara, 38400 Joy Road.
Hassan Shar, 25135 Newen.
Good evening, gentlemen.
Good evening.
And what would you like to tell us about your request to add oil change to this location?
It's been there. I think it'd be great for the neighborhood. I mean, I wish I can get all the residents that have came by the past few days complimenting how nice this place has come along. And I think it was just, I mean, it's changed. It's cleaned up pretty well, and I think it'd be great for the neighborhood.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Shard.
Thank
Any questions for our petitioner? We'll go with Ms. DeNaro first.
So can you walk us through all of the changes that you've already done to the space and what you intend on doing?
There's really not much more to do. We've done the doors, the paneling on the walls, the ceiling in the bays, the roof, the siding. We've done a lot of concrete work. We're doing the vacuum islands currently, and I think we're done.
And as far as the shed, when we do plan on building that, it'll be the same brick as the building, same
But
material.
we'll propose drawings that the guy that drew it for us just kind of got excited and put that in there. And I think he's just moving a little too fast here. And then signage as well. We haven't got to that point yet, and we will have a sign company apply for signs and meet the codes.
Thank you.
All set, Ms. DeNaro, okay. Who's next? Mr. Groves?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Picking up on a little bit on Mr. Naro's questions about what's been done. The photos that we have show kind of some brick that's going to be at the new vacuum locations.
Correct.
Could you maybe explain what the finished product will look like with regard to that?
Well, the dumpster, it will be 3 sides. With
No, I'm sorry,
Oh, no,
the
I'm sorry.
vacuum stations,
Oh,
the
vacuum.
ones fronting Joy Road, because I'm looking at it and,
Yeah, we added columns and, we added
Yeah.
columns and roofs. I have a better picture on my phone. The roofs are actually on now.
Okay.
And the way they were, I mean, they were just pretty ugly looking. I mean, that's what's catching everybody's eyes.
It's
And
like,
it-
it's a canopy that's over
Okay.
the vacuum.
Yeah, instead of a light pole hanging and these vacuums there and trash. I mean, they just look disgusting. to us.
the old pumps, or not pumps, vacuums, I think had lighting on them. Is there
Yes.
going to be lighting as part of the canopy
Well,
structure?
the light's gonna be there, but it's gonna be inside the canopy. It's
Okay.
not gonna be hanging the way it was. It
And
was
then-
just a
Yeah.
round
Just a
tube.
pole with lights
Yeah.
hanging off of it. Now the lights will be actually mounted to the ceiling of the canopy.
Okay. And then the actual vacuums, are those just going to be standard, or are they going to have lighting on them?
No, they're standard vacuums, but we're replacing them with new ones.
Okay, but they're not, some of the ones that we see, I'll say they're a little vibrant. with
Yeah, no, these
The
are
hoses
just-
having lights on them.
No,
and
these
that
are the
sort of
same
thing.
stainless steel ones. No,
Okay.
we're not getting all bright and fancy.
Okay.
I mean, but we did with the islands.
I guess I'll just flag one thing for my review. I don't know if this matters or not. But those are pretty close to the road. And I don't know if that is, I'm just wondering if there needs to be some sort of variance, because I think that's within the front setback.
But they were always there.
Yeah.
Understood.
We just went up
But
with them,
I
you
guess
mean?
it just,
Oh,
it
okay.
looks like they're about 10 feet off, and I think it's supposed to be a 15-foot setback. So they're already there, so I just want to maybe elevate that. Would have preferred to have seen what they would look like before they're constructed personally. Understand they're
We
already
got
in motion.
excited. I think we got excited.
At least you're using brick, and from what you're telling me, you're not going to have any sort of, LED lights on them.
No,
So-
not at all.
Okay,
And part of that is that it is an existing car wash that was,
okay.
I don't want to say grandfathered in, but it has an approved existing use with that use. So they are allowed to operate with this now, as long as they followed the building codes
Right.
in the building department. As far as those are concerned, that's more of their
Okay.
realm.
So I understand that we're actually kind of reviewing more of basically the oil change portion.
Yeah.
Understood. Okay. All right, that helps. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you, Mr. Droz. Any other questions for the petitioner?
Chairman,
Mr. Ventura?
is the oil change portion of your new operation going to be similar to one of the ones like we see along the road, Valvoline or one of these others, where you come in and you kind of wait in a little line and you get called in and just a drive-through?
Correct.
Yes, just a drive-through.
So it's not a situation where I could drive over there and drop off my car and you drive it in, and
No.
it's not that kind of.
Employees are not allowed in vehicles, cars.
So it's just like all the rest of these?
Yes,
Correct.
it's a 10, 15-minute oil change.
In my experience, when I go to the oil change place, they've got a stacking lane, a double stacking lane. And I don't think I've ever sat through more than 3 or 4 cars, but you could have 6 cars waiting to get,
We hope so.
to get through. You hope, yeah. How do you propose to manage that stacking on your site and not obstruct the entrances to the car washes on either side? I mean,
I
are you
think
gonna
the
put
stacking's pretty long.
Stripes or pylons or something out there to indicate to people where you want them to stack up to get in?
We'll definitely use cones, yes, pylons, we'll definitely use those. We'll bring those out if we have to, but that's a good suggestion, yeah.
We can even stripe the parking lot if it's needed.
I'm thinking that you want some kind of a visual cue as somebody pulls in there that they know where to go.
For the oil change stacking, correct.
Site plan. Okay. Last question, just a point of interest. Do you guys recycle the water that you wash the cars with?
No,
Okay, so it's one and done.
it's fresh water, yeah.
Okay. All right, thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Ventura. Any other questions for the petitioner?
Mr. Chair.
Mr. Caremagno?
A couple questions for you. In line with Pete's question, stacking for the oil change. Are you going to be able to stack from the Joy Road side, or are you going to stack coming in the backside?
From the backside,
Okay, there'll be a sign or something that indicates that?
Correct.
yes.
Okay,
There'll be, in the front of the building, there'll be an exit sign that's on the front of the oil change side.
okay.
That
Between the
will-
doors.
That will direct customers that this is the exit.
That's one-way entrance, one-way exit.
Correct. Same with the car wash bays.
Okay, very good. What are you going to be what are your hours now with the car wash? What were they? What will they be, and what will the oil change hours be?
We don't know what the car wash hours are. We just opened it back up last week. And oil change will be from 8 to 7.
Okay, so, car wash, you can come and wash your car at midnight if you want to?
Yes.
Correct.
But we don't know, depending on time and lighting and the cost of keeping it open late, we don't know what it's gonna do there yet.
Okay. Have you heard of any complaints from anybody regarding the car wash in the past?
No, a couple
being
of
open
neighbors that
late?
came by actually telling us to get the lights on because they're sick of hearing cars running on the other side of the wall, for, about an hour or so. They say it happens all the time, so they want these lights on.
They want the- yeah, they
We
want it
started
bright.
turning lights on and we turn them off at about 11. I just don't want to disturb the neighbors and I just want to get to meet all the neighbors first before we start turning these lights on.
Yeah, you've done some nice work there. I came by and it's impressive with what you've done already and
Thank you.
obviously an improvement to the property, so thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Caremagno. Any other questions? On the question of recycling of water, I assume obviously your oil is going to be collected into some sort of a container. How is that disposed of?
They come in once every month or once every 2 weeks, depending on the volume, and they take that oil. They remove it off the site.
Okay, so you're not going to be putting it in a container or by the dumpster or anything?
No, not at all.
Okay, all right. very good.
Everything's got to stay contained inside the building.
Okay, very good. And then they pump it out from there.
Yep.
Okay, makes sense. All right, let me see if there's anybody else in the audience wishing to speak on this item. Is there anyone in the audience wishing to speak on this petition? Again, I don't see anybody jumping up on this one. Anything else that you'd like to tell us, Mr. Schroz?
No, that was it.
That was
Thank
it.
you.
Thanks for the opportunity here in Livonia.
Okay, very good. Any other questions for the petitioner? I think we've covered everything. I'm going to close the public hearing, and a motion would be in order.
I'm going to make a motion to offer an approving resolution. The request to operate an oil change establishment in connection with a previously approved coin-operated self-service car wash at 38400 Joy Road is approved, subject to city council approval and the following conditions. 1, that the site plan is hereby approved and shall be adhered to. 2, the hours of operation shall be limited to the following: Monday through Saturday, 7 a.m. to 8 p.m., and Sunday, 8 a.m. to 7 p.m. 3, all parking spaces except the required handicap spaces shall be double striped at 10 feet wide by 20 feet in length as required. 4, that the 3 walls of the trash dumpster area shall be constructed out of building materials that shall complement that of the building. The enclosure gates shall be of solid panel steel construction or durable, long-lasting solid panel fiberglass. The trash dumpster area shall be maintained and, when not in use, closed at all times. 5, that there shall be no outdoor storage of auto parts, equipment, scrap material, waste petroleum products, junked, unlicensed, or inoperable vehicles or other similar items in connection with this operation, and the overhead doors, when not in use for vehicles entering or exiting the service facility, shall always be closed. 6, all light fixtures shall not exceed the height of 20 feet and shall be aimed and shielded to minimize stray light trespassing across property lines and glaring onto adjacent roadways. All exterior lights shall be turned off or dimmed between 8 p.m. and 7 a.m. 7, that the site's landscaping shall be permanently maintained in healthy condition. 8, only conforming signage is approved with this petition, and any additional signage shall be separately submitted for review and approval by the Zoning Board of Appeals. 9, no LED light band or exposed neon shall be permitted on the site, including but not limited to the building or around the windows. 10, the car wash bay lights shall be shut off when closed. 11, unless approved by the inspection department, any type of exterior advertising such as promotional flags, streamers, or sponsor vehicles designed to attract the attention of passing motorists shall be prohibited. 12, the plans referenced in this approving resolution shall be submitted to the inspection department with the building permit application. And finally, 13, per section 13.13 of the Livonia zoning ordinance, this approval is valid for 1 year from the date of approval by City Council. Unless a building permit is obtained, this approval shall be null and void after 1 year period.
Is there support?
Support.
All right, I got Mr. Droz on that. So there's a motion made to approve by Ms. DeNaro, supported by Mr. Droz. Is there any discussion on the motion? Hearing no discussion, if the secretary is ready, please call the roll.
Mrs. DeNaro.
Aye.
Mr. Rose.
Aye.
Mr. Long.
Aye.
Mr. Ventura.
Aye.
Caremagno votes aye. Chairman Wilshaw.
Votes aye, motion passes. We'll go to City Council with an approving recommendation. Good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming tonight. That concludes the public hearing section of our agenda. We now move on to the miscellaneous section of our agenda.
And that is-
Item 3.
That is number 3, McKenna and Associates presenting the Livonia Vision 21 Master Plan Amendment.
Thank you, Mr. Caremagno. We'll start with you, Mr. Muhazi. I know we do have McKenna staff in the audience as well, but we'll start with you.
Correct. I'll introduce Donovan from McKenna. He is helping us with our MISHDA-funded update to our master planning, our master plan focused on housing. With that, he'll have a brief presentation of showing where we're at and how far we've come.
Very good, thank you. Welcome back.
All right, thank you. Good afternoon, and thank you for allowing me to present to you this evening. I've been working with staff in Livonia for probably the better part of a year, working through this master plan amendment, and we are kind of approaching the final phase, the last leg of this work, and I'm very excited to be here to present this information to you and kind of give you an update on where we are, what some of our next steps are, and just some background on what we've been working on over the past year. All right. Next slide. So I'll start here. This is an amendment to your 2021 Livonia Master Plan. So with that being said, that plan has 4 books, and what we are proposing is book 5. The previous books in that plan all relate to various aspects of the content of that plan. So this book 5 we titled How to Make Housing Sustainable, and that came out of conversations with the steering committee, and that is the kind of overall arching umbrella that we are using to drive the content related to this plan. So next slide. So briefly, I'll just kind of give some background that you may already be aware of, but I think it's always good context as it relates to MISHDA. I'll go over the project itself, some of the scheduling, and next steps, and then I'll give an opportunity if you have questions for me, and then we will kind of discuss where we will be doing over the next couple months. All right. So as indicated, this is a MISHDA Housing Readiness Grant funded program where the organization did allocate $45,000 to Livonia to update or amend their master plan. So Livonia was awarded that, I believe, early summer 2024, and it's a 2-year grant. So we're approaching the kind of 2-year mark. And that's kind of why you're starting to see us here. We're at that point where we're able to advance this document. The objective of that grant was to make amendments and changes to either the zoning ordinance or the master plan in support of strategies, goals, and objectives for housing diversity, improved housing stock, and housing affordability. So I apologize. I'm going to be looking probably here. It's just a little easier to see, so you see me turning. So the Livonia 21 plan was a great plan. We did support working with Livonia to develop that plan. But what we wanted to do with this amendment is to add to it. The plan did a great job of covering a lot of topics related to future land use planning. It did have some references to housing, but what this does, it kind of takes those portions and blows it up and provides a lot more detail and context. So we are kind of titling it Soft Title Book 5. This is the Livonia 26th Amendment. And there are 5 main portions of this document. So when you see it, I just want to give a little background on kind of what you'll be looking at. So most master plans, all master plans include demographics. So your 2021 plan had 2016 demographics. So this amendment updates your demographics. So you have, I believe it's 2023, and I believe there's some 2024 data in there as well. It goes into a lot more detail about the housing data, and I'll go into more detail later on. But it goes into a lot more detail in presenting that data and then providing insight and recommendations on what to do with that data. The plan also provides a housing strategy, which we'll go over this evening, that gives a high-level overview of the scope of how we're aiming to address housing in Livonia. It goes into additional goals and objectives, building on your 21 plan, and then it closes with an implementation plan. So that's the kind of overall structure of this amendment. So when we look at the data that is provided in this version, it does give your kind of standard demographic data, such as population, households, age distribution, income, employment sectors, and education. But then it goes a little further and provides data points on housing specifically in Livonia. So that goes as far as providing housing affordability, household education and its relationship to income, defining and providing background around cost-burdened households and rentership, home values over time, rental and home values and prices, housing tenure and occupancy, housing supply and demand, and then there are reference to subsidized housing and what that currently looks like in the city of Livonia. So when we look at strategies, this is a very high-level approach on what the objective of this amendment is seeking to accomplish. So with that, the strategy we determines or supports a blend of middle housing opportunities, which is the kind of core of what the state of Michigan and MISTA has been trying to push with this grant, is how can we encourage middle housing typologies and building styles within our current existing framework. So just a little context when it comes to middle housing, it's easy to describe as when planning and development really started taking off around the country, we got really good at building single-family homes and large apartment buildings, but everything in between was a kind of hit or miss. So in Michigan, you don't have a lot of duplexes all the way up to your kind of small apartment buildings up to 10 units. So the kind of core of what this process does is says, hey, there is an opportunity to allow these middle forms of housing. What does that look like? In communities such as Livonia, when you have a lot of built environment and you don't have a lot of vacant land, you kind of have to be creative and look at how you can utilize your existing land and existing opportunities to bring a blend of uses such as townhomes, single families, small apartments, as well as commercial uses into your housing fabric. So with that, we looked at various vacant sites across Livonia. We used those to conceptualize what mixed housing developments could look like. And then we use those to kind of frame some of the goals and objectives and ways we can incorporate that into long-range planning for housing. And go back, I'm gonna do one more add-on. And then in addition, communities were really good with having single-family districts, and then later communities started to allow mixed-use districts. Mixed-use districts were defined as where you have a single building that may have commercial and retail on the first floor and residential above, which is kind of your standard mixed-use framework. And that got really popular mid-2000s. Whereas today, what planning trends and practices are starting to tell us is there are additional opportunities to allow mixed residential developments that a lot of communities have not taken advantage of. So what that is you may see a townhome development that may have 20, 50 townhomes. You may have a single-family subdivision that has, 50 single-family homes. But what we don't see a lot of today is mixed residential developments, where you have a blend of single-family homes, townhomes, apartment-style cottage courts, where you have this multi-blend of residential uses on one development, opposed from just having one singular type. What that does is by incorporating those mixed uses, you allow additional levels of income that can move into these spaces. So whether a single-family home is more affordable, or an apartment, or a townhome, by incorporating all these different residential types into one area, you get a mix of incomes, you get a mix of different housing types, and it creates more of a blend of people and uses. So that is kind of the overarching goal of introducing middle housing types into communities, and some of the benefits that you can see from those. In April of this year, I believe it was, April of 25, we did host a very successful open house. We had about 50 individuals that participated. And through that process, we were able to share some of the goals and objectives that we had started to craft with the steering committee very early on, as well as looking at some of the existing goals and priorities that were in your 2021 plan. We got a lot of input for those. We did an asset and opportunities, or a SWOT analysis, where residents were able to comment on the strengths, opportunities, weaknesses, and threats of various aspects of Livonia, housing related and non-housing related, as well as, I believe it's on the next slide, the concepts that we also developed. So we looked at several sites. I just presented two this evening. We looked at the Laurel Park area, as well as the former Sierra site, and we used those as the kind of base points to develop these conceptual frameworks on what developments can look like when you incorporate a blend of residential uses and commercial uses, as well as anchor tenants and things like that. So these concepts were shared with the public during that engagement activity. They were able to give feedback, and I think when we get to the next slide, I'll have some for you. So we can go back, though. I want to finish. So with these, we looked at incorporating townhomes, small-scale apartments. So these are apartments that can go up to 10 units or less. We looked at incorporating duplexes, townhomes, and then small anchor and retail uses within these sites to create more of a community aspect feel, highly walkable areas, and areas that can blend in and fit with the existing character of the surrounding community, which was a topic that came up quite often in our conversations with the steering committee and the public. So on the next slide, I just want to share some of the comments within the document. There are more detail, and we are working with staff to get a draft for you to start to review, but I did want to just share some of these with you. So regarding the concept sites, I'm gonna just turn this way a little bit. Residents were vocal about the city needing to do something with some of these vacant sites. Now, currently, the city doesn't own these. We're using these as concepts to convey this is something that the city is interested in, and as we start to see developments, it's an example on direction that developers can take. People did like the quality of the townhomes and advocated for cottage courts, so they did like that blend of residential types. Parking and congestion did come up as a common concern. Things like parking would be addressed in that site planning process. But overall, there were some concerns that we think are valid when you look at this type of mixed development. People did like the idea of townhomes, smaller, such as 10-unit apartment buildings, and they did understand, because we did explain how we came to those conclusions with those concepts, and they did tend to receive those pretty well. They did like the envisioning activity that we developed, encouraging high walkability and a blend of uses and blending the character of that development with the surrounding community. Traffic came up several times as a potential barrier to allowing these types of uses. And then overall, the feedback was generally pretty positive as it relates to those concept sites. So we do believe that we did come up with a concept that residents generally did support. And it's a good strategy going forward to allow additional housing types without changing the character of your neighborhoods dramatically or drastically. Next slide, please. So as it relates to the goals and objectives, so we did in that public engagement, we did collect input on some of the goals that we started to propose early on based on your 21 plan. Your 21 plan had two sections that really spoke to the goals related to housing. There's a clear section that's just called housing that has one overarching goal and 5 sub-objectives. And then there's another category in a different portion of the plan called urban design. It doesn't get into a lot of housing details, but it has some character, architectural, design and layout details. So we took those two sections, and that's what kind of started this conversation to develop what these new goals were. What your Livonia 26 plan amendment has is 5 new goals that we worked through the steering committee based on the Michigan statewide housing plan, which is kind of the backbone of the Michigan Housing Readiness Incentive Grant. So we did use that document with all the comments we received, as well as your 21 plan, to come up with these 5 goals, and then there are additional objectives that come out of these goals. Those goals are improving and maintaining the Livonia housing ecosystem, improving the housing stock, inclusive and generational housing, supporting home ownership and rental housing, as well as supporting housing equity. So your previous plan kind of had 1 goal. We've advanced 1 goal to 5. You had about 5 objectives in your previous plan. And then if you go to the next slide, in this new plan with your 5 goals, you have about 28 different objectives and strategies that the city can look at to advance various aspects of housing. So I did just give a few of them. Again, I wanted to just introduce these topics to you. This is a part 1 of 2 meetings where I do plan on coming and speaking to you. So you can kind of have this information today. You'll get the draft. You can look at it. And then when I come back, I will actually go through all of these individually and give opportunity for a more detailed conversation. So just for example, some of the objectives we did include are promoting and the development of multiple small-scale walkable commercial and service districts that serve the immediately adjacent neighborhoods, supporting a system of organized land uses to provide greater housing choices where new and redeveloped areas respect existing neighborhoods, seamlessly incorporating compatible multifamily middle housing types with detailed development and strong urban design, increase the supply of the full spectrum of housing that is affordable and obtainable to Livonia residents, increase the rehab, rehabilitation, or preservation of the existing housing stock, redeveloping underutilized, strategic, and functionally obsolete properties with mixed residential and commercial use developments, increase the quality of rental housing, increase the quality of rental housing, further stabilize and sustain elevated home ownership tenure, and increase the amount of housing that is accessible, safe, and healthy regardless of age, disability, or family size across all neighborhoods and communities. So again, that is a portion of the goals. Again, you'll have more, and we can go into deeper conversations about those as well. The last portion of the document is the implementation plan. And this portion takes the goals, those 5 goals, it takes those 28 objectives, and then it puts them all on a timeline, whether they can be achieved in a short, medium, or long time span. It allocates responsibility, so what departments, what stakeholders are a part of that process. And then we also include a priority, where we kind of took a stab at saying some items are more higher on the pecking order than others. But again, this is be an opportunity for you to look at those, and you may say, this may not be as much of a priority as you've identified. You know, we might want to adjust it. So there is going to be a little bit of conversation and dialogue as it relates to this portion of the plan, because this is the kind of backbone and the core of the document, and what most people will look at when they go to this document. They tend to go to this section, find what they're interested in, and then they kind of zero in. So we will spend some time after you've had the chance to kind of digest all the information to go through it, and that's where I would like to get input from you. Next slide, please. So as I discussed, we are approaching the end of this master plan amendment process. We did a lot of the concepting, the market research, the data research, and looking at your existing plan. So now we are starting to approach the adoption portion of this project. Next slide, please. Go back one. Yep, perfect. So the Planning Commission has a very specific role in the amendment of master plans. So we are kind of at the beginning of this, where we are looking to get comments and feedback from you before this document goes public. So that will happen between this meeting and the next time I see you, which I believe will be January. We'll work with staff to determine that. So we will come back in January after you've had a chance to digest the content. We can further discuss the content. And then if there are no kind of major changes, what we will be asking at that meeting is that you recommend that the document be distributed to the public, to stakeholders, and then City Council has a role where they step in and they have to do an approval to allow the distribution, and then it will be available to the public for 45 days. When it's a new master plan, that window is 63 days. When it's an amendment, it's 45 days. So it will go public for 45 days. We will return back with a public hearing where we will receive any additional comment or changes to the plan. Once that is completed, it will get, we will request action to forward it to City Council, and we'll kind of talk about, there's a portion where council may or may not have to weigh in, but we'll just confirm that with staff. But we would come back with the public hearing, request action, and then we'll go through its kind of last few channels to complete the document, get its final adoption, and then publication. Next slide, please. So we did provide a brief timeline. So here we are today, December 2nd. We're giving you this update here. Between December and January is when you will have the opportunity to have your individual reads. We will return in January and request for a distribution to be allowed to be sent out. We will come back with a 45-day public comment period, and then we will come back sometime in April and start the final phases of adoption for the amendment. Next slide. And that's what I have for you this evening. So, thank you.
Thank you very much. That was a very thorough and excellent presentation to get us started with this document that you've drafted. So let's see if there's any questions from any of my colleagues. Mr. Droz.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you for coming tonight. Appreciate giving the draft to us as well to look at and kind of get the thoughts rolling about you know, how we can support and the questions that we can have tonight. So I think kind of understanding your approach and maybe what MISHDA is looking to attain, I think one question I had as I reviewed the document and heard your presentation is, we're planning, but is there an end goal that we're trying to attain? Because there's some demographic data and there's some projections in here that go 20 years out. But part of my question as I look at this is, what are we projecting for? Is there a desire that we need to get the population to a certain amount? A little bit of kind of informing that plan, because, when we have what amounts to the 28 different strategies that we have to attack, part of that might be driven a little bit on, what we're trying to do. Is it more important that we try to reinvest in our housing stock and make sure that it's still competitive with the market? Or is it something where, we need to be trying to find more of those missing middle opportunities? And I guess kind of without having, maybe some more of the clear goals about what that 20-year projection is, it's a little hard for me to kind of, pick and choose what I think are the objectives. So I'm not sure if that's something that MSHDA is informing, with this being their grant, but I'd be curious to know if there are any particular metrics that we're trying to attain with this, relative to population, demographics, that type of thing.
Off the top of my head, I could probably name a few, but what I could do is include probably a bit more detail about what some of those are. Just like I said, there are changes in population that you might want to address as a goal. There are various topics such as the affordability of rent that changes over time. Family size has been reducing. So there are various demographics that we can look at and then try to consolidate some of those 20-year goals, and we can include that.
Okay, that would be helpful. And then from your perspective, what are potential, I guess, I don't want to call them obstacles, but things that we'll have to wrestle with over the next 5 to 10 years to attain some of these goals? I think what we've looked at is a lot of sites, a lot of big sites, right? And we know that it can be a big lift, to, first of all, you don't own the property. 2, it's going to require the right developer and the right project. And those are things that if we wait, it's going to take a long time. What things, as I look across the city, we don't have vacant space in residential zones. We have it in largely commercial zones, industrial. What do we need to do potentially on a land use perspective to drive towards some of these goals?
So what the state MEDC, what they're kind of advocating is a lot of just internal and external marketing of opportunities you have for development, whether that is city-owned or not. One, just to get those developments or those options kind of out in the front of developers. And then I would also add some of those barriers that are consistent with Livonia, but also the state of Michigan, is largely related to the aging populations. That's a barrier that everyone is starting to face. And a few things: aging populations, the age of housing. Every year that number goes up. So as the age of housing increases, the cost to maintain housing increases. And as those higher income individuals that are starting to age out, affording the existing housing stock is going to be a barrier in the future. Family, as I mentioned, family size gets smaller, so you are having less married families, which means you have smaller incomes. So a lot of higher end housing that will become available may be more challenging for newer families that are moving into Livonia. So there are several things, at least related to barriers, that I think what this plan does is it just tries to get those barriers out in front. So you can start to think about those things, because of what I believe MSHDA was trying to accomplish is a lot of master plans did not go into this much detail historically as it relates to housing. There was often details about community and some of the various aspects, communities that cities try to address. But when it comes to housing specifically, a lot of master plans were silent. So I believe what they were trying to accomplish was to get that data in front of communities so they can start to have those conversations. Specifically, cost burden was a topic that came up a lot that's not in, I haven't seen it in any master plan. And just in summary, cost burden is when you spend more than 30% of your income on housing. And then that has a lot of fallout, secondary benefits or effects on if you can maintain that housing or if you need to find a place that is more affordable based on income and what options are available to allow that. A lot of ordinances and master plans were silent on that issue. So we did include a lot of information about cost burden, the various levels of income that define where that sliding scale of affordability is for your income bracket. And then we also provide the types of housing and the amount of housing that is available to an individual in that income bracket. So again, it's to really get a lot of that information in front so we can start to have those additional conversations.
Thanks. And I guess maybe one other just idea or suggestion to maybe consider including in the final version is just, maybe some information about kind of just the overall age of the housing stock in the city. I think one of the things about kind of, I'll say the inner-range suburban communities is, we built out over the span of sometimes 20 to 30 years, and all that housing is aging together, where some other communities may have a little more variation. So I think just kind of understanding the age of the housing and understanding, like you said, as this housing does get older, it's more expensive to take care of. Just so we're kind of aware of that. I think both in a graphically, whether it's a bell curve, but then also even I think some mapping would be interesting. I know SEMCOG has that data, just so the residents of the community kind of understand, just kind of basically the existing condition and what our path forward looks like.
Okay.
Thank you.
No problem. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Droz. Any other questions for our McKenna representative on this topic?
Mr. Chair.
Mr. Caremagna.
There's certainly a lot to digest here, there's no doubt about it. And one of the things that struck me is there any examples of where this mixed development is working very, very well in and around Metro Detroit that you can share with us? So we can look at it, and you can look at it on paper or on the screen here, but where can you go physically walk and look at some great examples of what we're trying to do here? That would be good to know, to go look at. So that's number one. I like the idea of rehabilitation of some of the areas where the homes are getting not up to par anymore. I think that's a big piece of this in my mind. I drive all over the city, and I know there's areas that need some rehabilitation and brought back up to good standards. And then, of course, we talk about population, and we all know that there's a great generation out there that's aging rapidly now, and I don't think we're replacing those people as quick as they're going to go.
Correct.
So that is a concern. We talk about population. We want it to be back over X number, over 100,000. I don't even know if that's possible right now.
Yeah.
It's going to be a challenge because as these older folks are starting to pass on, and that's reality.
Yeah.
We're not producing children as rapidly to fill these voids. So that's a big unknown variable in my mind. I don't know that I've seen that number and exactly what it looks like.
Okay. There are aspects about it in the plan. I don't want to misquote the numbers, but I can double check and then I can kind of be more specific when I come back.
And that's why I said I got to digest more. I got to look at this in greater detail. But them are the things that just pop in my head immediately that could be of concern. Thank you.
No problem. Thank you.
Excellent points. Thank you. Any other comments, questions? I'll just say a couple that stand out to me. I agree with Mr. Caremagno's concern about not only the size of the population, but also the aging of the population, in the sense of the average age of the community has steadily increased, as we know, over the last several decades. Each census you look at, you see that age is increasing, and it's and as you say, Mr. Caremagno, it's not being replaced by a younger generation coming in, or if it is, younger families are moving in with far less kids or no kids at all. So that affects school districts, it affects housing and what types of houses are popular and what type of land people want. what they need. And so those are our concerns of mine. The other thing that is something I want to look at as well, and it sort of plays off of a comment that Mr. Droz made about the age of housing stock, is Livonia started to really build out as a suburban community back in the 1950s and in 1960s. As a large city, 36 square miles, compared to many of our neighboring communities, which are maybe not quite as large, there was a lot of open farmland, and there's a lot of opportunity to build neighborhoods, subdivisions, and different types of houses as each one was developed. Some of those were developed in the 50s and 60s, some were in the 70s, some were in the 80s, some 90s, and into the 2000s. And what you see is, as you drive around the city, you see those varieties of different types of homes based on what was popular in that generation or that era. There was 1,000-square-foot bungalows were popular at one point, and the Sears catalog homes, and then you have, and now you look at the most modern subdivisions that are built in our city, which there's very few opportunities for that left, but some of the smaller infill subdivisions are modern homes, which are, 3,000 square foot, large colonials, McMansions, as they like to call them, because that's the style that's now popular. Same as we're seeing built out into the green fields, if you will say, of Novi, South Lyon, and the outer suburbs. And what happens is each of these generations get built out, these different types of homes, there's different styles. There's different desires for what is considered modern or desirable by that particular community that is shopping for those homes at that time. We see, small or houses with many bedrooms and smaller rooms was popular at one point. Now big open concept, rooms are popular, open concept kitchens and so on. And when a person is looking to locate into the Metro Detroit area and they're looking for a community to move to, they're going to want whatever's the flavor of the month, whatever's popular at that time. And if they don't see it available in a particular community like, say, Livonia, because it's fairly built out, and maybe it's built out in, say, 10, 20, 30 years, 40, 50 years ago, they're going to go elsewhere. They're going to go to the other community that has whatever that popular thing is. So the age of the housing stock is incredibly important, not only from a maintenance perspective, but also from a marketability perspective. And I've seen a few examples. You can maybe take, downtown Northville or Plymouth, where you have very old housing stock, over 100-year-old houses that are getting, you see them getting bought, refreshed, rebuilt out, interiors stripped out, maybe the whole exterior is redesigned as well, to modernize these Victorian and other style homes to modern standards. And those then become very desirable, and they're selling for millions of dollars. And so the question becomes, what can Livonia do as part of this plan to recognize what the age of our housing stock is, and how do we make that marketable and desirable for the current buyers of any given moment? How do we, is there incentives for redevelopment, for builders to come in and redevelop these properties, or to modernize them, or update them in some way to make them more marketable, more desirable, so that Livonia does not become a community that gets left in the dust and passed over by the new home buyers and the people moving to this area. So those are the types of things that I think about as I read through this as well, that concern me as far as, how do we keep Livonia at the top of the list as a community? Because it was a very desirable top of the list community for a long time, and in more recent years, I don't see that happening so much. I don't see people moving to Southeast Michigan going, I really want to go to Livonia. They're saying, I really want to go to Novi. I really want to go to South Lyon or whatever. So, so that's a concern that I think a lot of people in this community share. Those are just my thoughts. Anybody have anything else? If not, I think we've at least kicked off a really good conversation. Is there anyone in our audience wishing to speak on this item? I don't see anybody wishing to come forward on this, so I think what's appropriate for this point, for this agenda item, is just to receive and file your report so far. We do appreciate you coming here and getting this conversation started. We do have a month or so to digest the information that you've given us with this draft. And again, thank you for such a thorough presentation and kind of getting our thought processes going. And I'm sure we'll have good conversations going forward.
All right, and thank you. I appreciate that. And you see me nodding my head because I've been looking at this data, and this is all stuff that I've been kind of identifying. And so it's good to hear that these are your interests and you like to see those things. So I'm looking forward to providing those updates and getting something to you that you would like to wear proudly. So,
Okay,
thank you.
excellent. Well, thank you.
All right.
If there's nothing else from any of the commissioners, I think we're all set with this item.
All right.
All right, thank you for coming again tonight.
Thank you.
And next, we have item number 4 on our agenda.
It's the approval of the 2026 Planning Commission schedule.
And Mr. Uhazy, this was presented to us at our study meeting. We had a chance to review it. Is there any updates or changes?
No updates, but I just did want to share this with you. I know it's a little bit hard to see. I wanted to show them side by side, but I realized that'd be impossible to see. But you guys do have in your e-packet the original proposed one, which is the same as we did this year. So it would be study, regular meeting, week off. At the study, we discussed the possibility of giving the petitioners more time with a week off in between. So Stephanie was kind enough to go through and make an example of that for next year. I know you guys had kind of mentioned that you're good with it this year, but I did want to just give this as an example to show you how it would look, at least through January and February. We have the full year I'll share out with email. But this is how it would look with the week off in between the study and the public hearing. In the end of the year, it ends up with, I think, one more meeting this way, but several more meetings have to end up being like back-to-back, where there's not that extra week. But just to get an idea of, so you guys can compare and contrast how it might go if that's something you want to pursue in the future. You know what it looks like, each way.
I appreciate you bringing it to our attention because you're correct. As you move those off weeks, then you have to start contending with holidays and other things that cause us to not have meetings. So that's excellent. Is there any comments from any of the commissioners on our schedule?
Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Ventura.
maybe I missed the whole point here, but I thought the off week was going to be between the study meeting and the public hearing, which would provide the petitioners time to react to the input that they got at the study meeting and prepare whatever exhibits or make whatever modifications that they were going to make, and then come to the public hearing. As I look at January and February, the off week occurs between the public hearing and the next study. So
Right.
I think it's, unless I missed the point.
So the original schedule that was presented to us, which is similar to the one that we had for this year, had the off week between the regular meeting and the study meeting. And that's the schedule that was presented to us at our study meeting last week or a couple weeks ago. What was brought up at that meeting was the idea of reversing that and having the off week between the study and the regular to give the petitioner the extra time to
So the
prepare.
schedule that's here does not reflect that.
Right, Mr. Uhazy has prepared I guess we call it conceptual schedule
Yes.
of how that would look if we did move those off weeks in between.
Okay, but that's not this one, okay.
Right,
Great.
but that's not
Thank
what
you.
we're
I was going to
necessarily.
send it out. I thought it might be too much to try and explain it through email and then have two that looked very similar. So I decided to go with this way. I
Right.
will send this out as well, but just wanted to give you a reference of certainly you guys can decide how you want to do it, if you wanted to pursue that way. But just to keep things, since that was how it was presented at the study, I wanted to keep it consistent. So that was what was in the e-packet for this week. But like I said, Stephanie was able to bring up a conceptual plan of what it would look like. And again, I know it is difficult to read, and I will send it out to you, but it does kind of lay out, and it does have a very similar amount of meetings. That's the biggest difference, is that there would be one more public hearing, but there'd be several weeks where there wouldn't be a break in between to fulfill all of our needs.
Clear as mud?
So you and I are on the same page, okay.
All right, very good, very good.
This is not that. I
Exactly,
get it.
exactly. Yeah, it's more food for thought at this point, and maybe something that we can implement for the next year's schedule, unless the commission
think
feels they
it's-
want to go forward with a whole new schedule now. But any other comments, questions?
I just echo that I appreciate putting this together. Tonight was a good example. You know, we received the site plan yesterday, and I think it worked for everybody, but, you know, sometimes our schedules are such that when that packet comes out on Friday, we might have an hour or two over the weekend that's dedicated to it. So just knowing what professionals go through to put these together, you know, I think the extra week should result in better projects that we see at the table here. So I appreciate you doing it, Stephanie and Jacob.
Yeah, I agree, and I do think it was a great suggestion that was offered, something that we hadn't necessarily thought about, and to that point, we have heard petitioners tell us, you know, to get my architect to make these plans or to make these updates, take some time. I can't necessarily turn that around in a week, so I think that is a good idea to give that extra time. We may not be able to do that for 2026, but maybe going forward to future years. Any other thoughts, questions? If not, I think do we need a motion to approve the schedule, Mr. Uhas, or just receive and file? All right, we're going to receive and file if there's no objection from anyone else. The 2026 Planning Commission schedule that was presented to us in our packet. I don't see any objections, so we'll do that. We have one item left on our agenda, Mr. Secretary.
That's the approval of the 2020, approval of the minutes of the 1,237th public hearing and regular meeting held by the Planning Commission on October 28, 2025.
You can approve the whole meeting if you want, minutes or not. This particular this meeting had all members present with the exception of Mr. Ventura, Mr. Bonjero, and Ms. DeNaro. Is there a motion to approve?
I'll make that motion.
Support.
Mr. Caremagno and Mr. Long are making that motion. If there's no objection, I think we can show 4 on that, which will be Droz, Caremagno, Long, and myself. No objections? All right, we'll mark that as approved. That takes us to the end of our agenda. Is there anything other business to come before the Planning Commission? Hearing none, is there a motion to approve, to adjourn?
So moved.
By Ms. DeNaro.
Support.
Mr. Ventura supports a adjourning motion. Is there any objection to showing 6 on that? I hear no objections. We'll show 6 on the adjournment. I do want to thank Livonia Television staff for bringing this meeting to the community, and we will be adjourning this meeting at 8:34 p.m. Good night, Livonia.